Hello, and welcome to Spirit Among Us. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 7. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses according to the riches of his grace. What would our world look like if God had no grace? How would we hold up before God if he had no grace? Would we still be forgiven? Could we still be forgiven? The answer is no. There is no possible way we could be forgiven of our sins without the loving grace of God. And thanks be to God for forgiving us according to the riches of his grace. Without the forgiveness, grace, and mercy of God, we would all get exactly what we deserve: judgment. If he had no plan to forgive anyone, he wouldn't have allowed the world to continue existing anyways. He would have thrown everyone into hell already. And the reason for that is that we have all sinned against God, and we are all unworthy before him. I want to take a look at Romans chapter 3, verses 9 through 12. What then? Are we Jews any better off? No, not at all. For we have already charged that all, both Jews and Greeks, are under sin. As it is written, no one is righteous. No, not one. No one understands. No one seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one. Now, who are these verses talking about? Who are they speaking of? Paul is writing to the Romans as a Jew, and he says that we have charged that all, both Jews and Greeks, are under sin. He is declaring that every person, all people, are under sin. And he says that there is no one, no person who is righteous. There is no one who on their own seeks God. Because our wickedness is so great before the perfect God of the universe, the Bible uses such words as worthless to describe sinful mankind. There is no person who does good. Without the help of God, we are under sin, enslaved by sin, and living in sin. And to make matters worse, there is no way out in our own strength. God gave us a law to follow, and nobody can possibly ever follow it as he commands. Let's look later in that chapter to verse 20. For by works of the law, no human being will be justified in his sight, since through the law comes knowledge of sin. You see, God gave us this perfect law to follow. He gave us the commands, knowing that none of us would be able to follow it. But he gave us the commands to produce in us a knowledge of sin, so that we would know how much we have sinned against God, and we would realize that we could never be justified by works of the law. No one can ever be justified before God by trying to just follow the law, because we just can't do it. But this is where God's grace shines all the brighter, because we can know that there was no hope before the cross of Christ. Without the forgiveness that comes through God's grace, there is absolutely no hope at all. There is nothing to look forward to. There is no way out of eternal destruction. But with him, and because of the riches of his glorious grace, we stand forgiven, and our destiny is set for an eternity spent with him. So don't be fooled about this. Your sin is great. All of our sin is great. But God's grace is great as well. The riches of it know no bounds. Thank God today for saving you through grace and through grace alone. Thank you for watching, and God bless.